Damien.
I think we good.
All right. Or Evan, how y'all doing?
We're good.
Bet it up. Damien, what level is your highest thing in this before we get started, so that I know which one to go into.
Ooh, depends on what we're using.
You can use whatever the hell you want to, but um, we gonna go into Blaze escalation 1 through 13, and if we like skip through that, then we can do the next level. But I need that.
Um, I think my pikes are level 12.
Okay, so that'd be good for this one.
All right, so we're
But like if you
going
got
ice or
we're gonna go. You gonna need an ice pike, yes. Oh
uh,
shit!
cause I ain't get
Wait,
those
I'm not supposed to be
fangs.
cussing. See, this is hard already, Damien.
Nah, you good, bro. You good. I'm not. I'm not stressing it. It's not.
All right, so how everybody doing? How everybody doing?
We good. We
Yeah.
good.
I need 4 frozen
Last little
nails
bit.
Okay. Oh,
or frost beaks. All right. I'm gonna
so
just.
topic of today
Yeah.
is accountability. So ultimately, what I want to do is just talk about anything as far as like accountability. What you think it comes to mind, some experiences you've had, some lessons you've learned, but the whole overall umbrella topic is accountability. So it's free reign. You talk about whatever you feel like talking about. Um,
Stop the
keep in
matchmaker.
mind we are live, but say whatever the fuck you want to.
There we go.
Mhm.
Um, somebody else started off. I started off the last one. So anybody else want to start off? Y'all good?
It's on you.
Because you chose the topic. So it's on you.
Yeah, you
Uh,
you kind of you kind of did start choose the topic, my boy.
Yeah,
So that falls on you,
Hey,
my boy.
hey, hold on, nah.
Hey,
You know, I feel set up. I feel set up. All right.
it must be nice. I don't want
Nah,
to
this
be
is a
like
damn
you, my
setup, all
boy.
right?
uh,
All right. So basically, I'm gonna start off like this. Who's had, I want to say, the biggest like impact when it comes down to accountability? Like whether it be some shit you learned about yourself or some stuff that you've learned about someone else impacting you.
And
Like somebody start off with one, explain some stuff that's happened to you dealing with accountability somewhere.
I think I think I can start on that one.
all right,
That's it.
It's a weird story. So before I got with Tay, I was dating. I know, right? I was dating this chick, and I was living with her parents and all this kind of stuff. I was a shit. Like it's my early 20s, staying out late, working, just smoking weed, not taking accountability for myself. He told me this thing that I've really always kept in my head. If you don't make, if you don't set rules for yourself, other people are going to set those rules for you, and that's what's going to dictate your life. I've always tried to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable at the most barest of minimum.
Okay.
I have something similar to that in a way, and it really has to do with my first marriage and me having to learn that I wasn't accountable at the time, and I had to grow up and realize that even though she hurt me, which was a deep backstory, with her going to the military and me staying here, and her coming back, and it just imploded 6 months after we got married, and everything in me wanted to blame her, but it wasn't until after I actually tried to kill myself where I actually it was like, hold up, what the fuck? Like, what did you do to keep her?
Yeah.
So like when it comes to being accountable, I think that's what a lot of us men lack, and that's just being. I can't speak for women. I can only speak for men and myself and the guys I know. And sometimes we get so caught up in ourselves that we think we have time to fix everything until you don't.
I
You
agree
know,
with that.
so that was really my whole story of accountability, where I really just had to slap myself in the face. Where I had a great woman, I had a great fucking woman. She financially, she helped me out. There was like there was nothing I couldn't get out of her, and I look back at my life where I was doing just enough to get by and not excelling while she was out here fighting for both of us. It was really my oh you a fuck nigga moment in life where I had to really just point the finger at myself like damn like she was carrying your ass. So to this day like that's why I have my own apartment, pay my bills, I bought my own car. I don't I don't really ask for help from anybody because I just remember that feeling. And honestly, it keeps me, I don't want to say humble because that's not the word, but it keeps me on my toes as far as like, okay, life is what you make it. And kind of what he just said, if you don't make your own rules, somebody else will make them for you. That I couldn't have said it any better myself. So yeah, that's my little story on accountability before I actually get ready to rip another man's soul out.
Respect, though. Genuinely, and honestly, that I can open up off of that. That for accountability to me is openness. Um, I wasn't really able to do it until I became open, not really with others first, either with myself. The things I was uncomfortable with, the patterns, the behaviors that were holding me back, where I just got complacent and comfortable with a reality that fit a narrative that I was comfortable with myself. So for me, it came to a grips when I was at the end of a relationship. I had no bank account, didn't even have a library card, um, didn't have my ID that was stolen,
Mm.
um, didn't have anything except for my social security number, and I didn't even feel important as a number at the time. And my health was on the line, my self esteem, sure enough, was on the line. But there's a point where I was like, if this is it, then this is it. But if I have another day to make a difference, then I'm going to hold myself accountable for creating the reality that I want and not settling with the reality that was taught to me, given to me, conditioned into me. At this point, if I'm not living at my highest level or at least going towards that, then I have to be accountable for allowing that to keep going on. And I had to be comfortable admitting that to myself first before I could even help people from a place that was not only genuine, but a safe space. So for me, accountability is openness.
Respect.
I can jump in a little bit off on that. I had a lot to figure out in this past year alone. Um, where I really I got a slap in the face. My entire reality just kind of like said, "Hey, fuck you," right? Um, but a lot happened, and my eyes got open to a lot. And this one I have to thank my brother for because at the end of the day, I wasn't expecting. If you would have told me that this happened, like 2 years ago, I would have told you were lying, and I probably would have fought. I would have fought you for that. Um, but it took for me to get to a portion of my life where I felt like I can be a little bit open with myself to understand that like what truth really is, and not accepting everybody else's
Like a
explanation of like what reality is for me. I had to like see what it is on my own. I had to pay attention to like who was moving around me and how they were moving around me. But to kind of go into depth on what I'm meaning and what I was dealing with. Um I ain't saying names. I'm not specifying names at all in this entire conversation, but I will specify that this man is my father. Um And when I say this, he was somebody I looked up to as like a really big influence into my life. I always used him as an ability to say, like that's that common joke that black kids get. Oh, you don't know your dad. So I used to use that as the fact that hey man, I know my dad and I get to spend time with my dad. The problem came into the fact of realizing that there was a weird awkward pattern with my father that kind of kept going into play where one minute life will be going great, then the next minute like all life is just went to crap, and he would never explain what he did wrong in the situation, but only the things that he's done right. To me, at the time, it never really kind of like registered. I didn't really just kind of like look at it because at the end of the day, like that was my dude. That was like, I mean, if we're being honest, that was my best friend. I mean, that was my other best friend that I could talk to. I mean, he was the first person I ever, like, first parent I ever was able to smoke with, and stuff like that. And I feel like I can be open with my dad. So, like, in that portion, anytime I saw anything bad, I just told myself that it was a fluke, or maybe he had a mess up, because people are allowed to have a mess up. And I kept, like, I would make up excuses to myself on the situation. Um, Not explain on why like I can't accept that kind of behavior, especially not from him, because he should be the example, not the. I shouldn't be giving him an example, especially being a kid in the situation. But anyway, to kind of explain the situation to open up my eyes is just the fact of like my dad and I we had a conversation plenty of times where he was just wanting to talk about how he was doing good in life and how he was doing better about himself. And I used to tell him like I was proud of him. Like one big thing is when he said he got his own place, I was really excited for him because like to me, getting your own spot, I don't care where you coming from. Like especially when you ain't have your own spot, like to me that's a big accomplishment because nobody else can tell you what to do. You got your own, like it's yours. So for me, I was really proud of him. He knew that I'd be proud of him for doing stuff like that, which was crazy that he was looking for my approval for things looking back on it, but
You being his son. Yeah.
yeah, it's a little wild, but um in this situation it just I'm over here fighting the wrong thing. um this this man just flat out lied. If we're just gonna be honest here, this man didn't explain what happened or anything like that on how he got his own place or like why he got his own place. And I just realized that a lot of things started to add up after I get a call from my brother. He's like, "Yo, man, I just need your support. I'm not gonna go in full depth on this whole entire conversation that we had, but he's just like, I need your support." After being given the details, I was like, all right, screw it. I mean, I'm gonna make sure that I get there. They ended up giving me the day off of work, so I was like, screw it, I'm there. All right. Um, the reason my brother needed my support was because I found out my dad did the one thing that I told myself I'd never forgive anybody else in the world for. And if honestly, uh,
Yeesh.
if I had the opportunity to, I'd probably knock him off. Um, I'm probably gonna drop off because my stream is not working right now. I'm just gonna record. Um, but anywho, yeah, we just gonna hop off that because it just restarted me. Anywho, so with this man doing what he did, it pissed me off. It pissed me off a lot because the way he presented it to me was kind of like very like watered down story of, hey, listen, I asked your sister to do some shit. And I just kept asking her, and she finally told me yes. It's kind of like the gist of the conversation. Makes it easy. You don't spend 2 hours on this whole one conversation. Um, and for me being the person that I was and how far my head was up his ass, I was like, hey pops, I'm here for you. Like, I got you. I'm on your side right here. It wasn't until I talked to my brother, he explained everything to me, and then I talked to my sister, she also explained everything to me, and then I talked to my dad again, that things started to piece up. And then like 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like, look, listen, I don't care what you say, that's what that is. for streaming purposes, I'm just gonna say the R word. There you go. That man's mad disrespectful in my eyes. That's the one thing I would never forgive anybody of, and I mean forgive anybody for. But what pissed me off was he never took accountability for his actions, and that's where I wanted to talk about this conversation. And um, he never took accountability for his action. We all sat there in the room together, and not one moment did I feel like he was ever sorry about what he did, or if this man was ever like truly remorseful or anything. Like it was just more of like a self kind of thing for that man, which pissed me off because like you gonna go and 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 do something like that to somebody else, and you have no ability to show remorse for it. I don't believe your apology. As a matter of fact, take that apology and shove it right back up your ass. I don't care, but it gets me from time to time because of the fact that like for somebody to do something so disrespectful, you would expect them to at least have some kind of remorse for the people who still want to be in his life. Yeah, not go back and backstab or bash that person because initially the first story he told everybody was that um she came on to him, not really him going to her. So he didn't just not take accountability. He also flat out just lied and threw the entire blame, not to just my stepmom, but to family as well. And threw that on my sister. And she felt like she had to take that entire weight on her own. That's a whole nother frustration. We ain't gonna talk about that. But yeah, it frustrates me because like as a grown man who's always told me you have to hold honor in our name, it pissed me off to know that he didn't honor the name enough to not disrespect my sister. He didn't honor the name enough to own up to his mess ups, man. Like you're a grown man. That's the route you taking as a grown man. Like I'm gonna need you to figure something out, my boy. For real. Because to me that is the most disrespectful, vile thing you can ever do to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter whether or not it's by force or whether or not it's by manipulation. And he was a master manipulator. Would you call it for what it is? I mean, hell, shit. I know him better than I want to say I do.
Right.
Just by sitting back and listening to this man talk and sitting back and then piecing stories together. And it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. It taught me that it doesn't matter what you do. If you were to hold accountability for your actions, you may not be looked at as bad as you actually are. But if you go and do some disrespectful shit to somebody, and you can't even hold yourself accountable for it, bruh, I wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire, if I'm being honest. I'm speaking from just straight raw
facts.
feelings. I
No,
would
I
not.
mean,
That's what we do here. That's
you
what
have
we
the right
need.
to feel like that, and honestly, that's an unspeakable act. Honestly, from
Buddy.
someone's. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just don't feel anybody. I don't think anybody would feel differently.
Right.
No, that's a hefty betrayal on top of that, and
Yep.
the amount of gaslighting that goes down to compartmentalize that type of information. I feel for you, but strong as hell. I'll say that.
No. I'll say I'm strong, sure, but the person who got the most from my father is in this party, and he goes explain it when he get a chance to, whenever he feels like he's ready. I'm not gonna force him to, but just know I dealt with enough. He dealt with he dealt with everything. He dealt with everything and gave chance after chance. Me, you had that one opportunity. You fuck up there, I don't want to talk to you no more. I reached out to that man. He didn't respond back to me. That was it. That was the end of that whole friendship, relationship, father-son relationship, whatever you want to call that. Don't talk to me. I can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I reached out. So, like, I do appreciate you saying I'm strong, but I definitely don't want to take that away from my brother, because at the end of the day, that man went through the thick of it with him, and that that alone is disrespectful. The fact that, like, to me, I think the next disrespectful thing my father has ever done, and it took me to like realize it afterwards, was uh the fact that he used us pretty much as pawns, right? You get in good with a kid, you tell your kid about all your health problems, tell him how life sucks, right? And then that kid goes to your baby mama who you decide to sleep with and give a kid to, and then abandon.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I said it. Abandon. Fuck you. Sorry. um, but he abandoned them, and then he expected them to come back, talk to him, be perfectly fine with him, right? And then get their moms to drop child support on him so he could be lifted of his burden. So he didn't have to take accountability for the fact that he put 3 kids in this world that won't have a father, like a good father figure at all.
Yeah.
Like, we being honest, we being 100% honest here.
I
Like,
mean, I feel you. I really do, and I relate. Continue. I do have something I want to say, but I want to hear you out fully because I feel like you're gonna say it. So continue.
but I mean, that's where I leave it at. Is just more of I've gotten tired of the constant frustration of feeling like this is all my fault. It's like I have to take the reins and the full weight of this whole entire situation for this man. But in reality, like, I don't feel like that's my fault. I don't feel like that's my fault. I've realized now that it ain't my fault. Only thing I will fault myself for is the fact that I was really closed-minded. But even then, hell shit, who's gonna be like closed-minded wanting a father
You're
figure?
a black kid who wanted a father. Yeah, you're closed minded.
Yeah,
Thank
there
you.
you go. There you go. That's what I was about to get at. Cause like, we being honest here.
Do you want, like, in all honesty, because like I'm not trying to overstep, but if you want to go down that rabbit hole of like the impact and the weight of the expectations and the training that goes into generational trauma, and then watching your parents repeat the very cycle you notice yourself going through or trying to avoid, and you got their voice in your ear, and then what you know for yourself as an individual, and then you see your peers on top of that, and like, goodness gracious, like, I'm an only child, so I didn't get to live with my half siblings, but if you have siblings, add that on top of it, and then see that replicate itself. That's a twisted web right there, and to be able to call out accountability is an amazing step for anybody, but applying that
Definitely.
as a black person in the household, knowing all the similarities we share and all the ones that we don't, that's deep. That's a very deep. I'm down to go down that, but that is deep. We could go there.
Look, I already had
So
somebody come in chat talking about this is getting deep. I was like, look, that's what we're here for. We are here as open ears, judgment free.
Yeah.
We talk
so
about our
so
situations.
Cause like,
I
oh
like what you
man,
said there. I like what you said there. But and I don't want to exclude you out, Cobra.
Yeah.
Everybody else here in this chat right now is of an African American descent, right or wrong.
Right.
Besides Cobra, I don't want to,
yep.
like I said, but Cobra
Hey,
is a part of the
I'm
minority.
as close to African as you can be, really. I'm
Okay,
There you
Puerto
cool.
Rican,
go. There you
All
go.
right,
so
so it
There
works.
we
you
go.
know, I
Look,
got
people
I
just
got
got
some sort of it.
people just got dropped off on a different boat ride, bro. That's
Yeah, bro.
that's amazing.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
they just
I
mixed
was
up
I was
boats.
just kicked off the boat a little bit too early.
That's
Oh,
all it was.
okay. I understand it. I understand. Um,
Main boat.
so what I want to get into is the fact of what can this generation here do to, like, oh shit, who the hell was that?
Somebody got a background string going.
I think so. That's
Oh,
anybody.
oh.
Yeah, we're gonna see if you're right.
Um,
Like,
to be
real
honest,
motherfucker.
this these newer generations altogether, they weren't raised to really know what full accountability was.
Just to say it, bro, I'm honestly afraid for the future generation.
I
Damon,
mean,
I want
I feel two ways about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Like they're really strong in other ways. Like they don't give a fuck about
Yep,
anything.
anything.
that's the one thing I do give
Oh,
them.
sorry, my bad.
You good? You good? No,
But
nah, they really
Man can't
don't.
say that, then I don't want to be here.
Nah, you good? You
Exactly.
good?
Exactly. And they will just leave. They don't care about their health or anything. But the second that they're given like an actual task, it's like they don't want to do anything.
Yeah,
I
At least
mean,
from my point of view.
I've noticed from my point of view, and this is from a prior a reformed people pleaser. Like I'm an absolute savage about that now, but back in the day, like when I would try to understand where they're coming from, I can't agree that they don't know better. They know accountability. Like they know what the consequences of their actions are, but they don't want to change. Somewhere they had benefited, they feel like they always say this right here. Oh, well, I turned out okay. You surviving is not an indicator of success. You're just another human being here. And I think they're comfortable with the fact that they live and made it through or trying to survive. And they can say that, oh, well, I live to tell the tale. They're not telling anything. They're not imparting that knowledge. They judge us harsher sometimes than our own racial counterparts. I hate to say that. I can garner a better conversation about things I actually enjoy, but the moment that they're afraid of what, music or media I'm listening to, like, dude, y'all grew up with Rick James. Like, you don't know how to get down and grindy, but you're ready to, throw that stone at us the moment we show our creativity, our oddities, our sexuality, our quirks. And it's like, y'all came up in that too. And I feel like that same hand, that big brother feeling that you felt like you had all those years, you're doing it now. And you don't want to admit it. You don't want to admit that you've been made a man. Because you didn't change it.
Great.
Really on that.
So in other words, toxic behaviors tend to just go on and go on and go on and go on, and nobody really realizes that.
yeah, no.
Okay.
Yes.
It's all within the teaching. Like
Right, and
if you
so
grow up saying this is what you think. You have
true.
no
Yeesh.
outside belief. And I
Right.
hate to get
Mhm.
like this with certain people, but fuck it, excuse my language. It's like religion. If you grow up a Christian, everything that you hear about Islam is wrong. If
Yeah,
you grow up
Mhm.
a Muslim, everything that you hear about Christianity is wrong.
Right.
It's all about your surroundings. That's what makes you who you are. If a
Mhm.
kid is in a place where he thinks playing basketball and rapping is the only thing that's gonna get him out, then
yeah,
that's what he's gonna pursue.
Right.
He doesn't
Exactly.
understand that he has all this other shit. And when y'all are talking about like this generation, they have the world at their fingertips, shit that we didn't have at this age.
mm-mm.
Mhm.
Like
So
literally, they can search any information at any time and have it on hand.
Yep.
On hand.
We didn't have that shit. Like, go take your ass to the library, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, we ain't have these fancy iPhones when we were little.
Hell no. Like, they literally can host class from a computer. We didn't
Yep.
have that shit.
Thank
You give me the
you.
freedom, I will never be here. Ever.
Seriously.
And you know it's crazy that you say that. Nowadays they're going back to class, but it's not like fully in class.
Exactly. It's virtual.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, that's also screwing up the atmosphere of being around people.
Yeah, it is.
Agreed.
So what that's gonna do is it's eventually gonna turn these kids that should be social
I love it. To get
into
back in this game. I'm sorry. I'm finna cut.
for kids that are being supposed to be social, now they're gonna be more of like to themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's
it
like the
fucks with
difference
people's
between like
psyche
a
when that happens.
like
Definitely.
a
That's
like a
the
homeschool kid versus a public school kid.
So when they
yeah,
graduate high
exactly.
school or whatever, they're just gonna go out into the world and they're gonna be like, now what?
They're
Yeah.
closed off, man. And
Right.
at the same time, I'm not gonna condemn it because whatever you feel like you have to do to protect your kid at the end of the day, if that's because I have friends who say their moms didn't let them watch Dragon Ball Z,
Mm-hmm.
like Scooby Doo, shit like that, like anything that had to do with something evil they couldn't watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Harry
you have
Potter.
situations like that where people are truly cut off, and you just have to take that step on your own. I can sit here and tell you the stove is hot 100 times, but
Mm-hmm.
eventually you're gonna touch it to find out yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm Puerto Rican. My parents told me once, you touch it, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll sit there and be
Say
like,
it
I
again.
told you ass not to touch it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They'll hit you with that. What did we learn?
What did
Yep.
we learn?
Can't even really be mad.
I mean, they'll cuddle you after
Hey,
it,
but you'll
but
be
like,
pissed off too. I was always pissed off. Bet you won't do that again.
Right.
You
Fuck
right, I
that, I
won't do it
told you
again, but
so.
you ain't gotta call me out.
Right.
That's what parents are. I mean, like I feel like that's what our parents were taught to do by their parents. You know,
Ex-
like I mean, in the case of like your Puerto Rican family, at least in that aspect, you're getting taught not to do it.
Yeah.
But for us, it's just don't do it, and then we do it to find out, and we hurt ourselves. It's not the you're gonna hurt yourself, like the preemptive strike on that. At least then your parents are looking out for you. And at least in my situation, it's more of like, okay, go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it. It doesn't give me the you're gonna hurt yourself aspect, which I feel like a lot of kids need, at least growing
right.
up. You know.
You know. They just think their parents are
Yeah.
bossing them around all the time, when really they're
Yeah.
just trying to watch out for them.
hmm
but we went through that same cycle. They told us everything when we were younger, and it was like, fuck that.
Yeah. We were
Yeah.
rebels.
You just have to. You have to fucking learn. Don't jump into the deep end of the pool. Fuck it, I'm
Yep.
going. Like
Yep.
you have to learn. And kids are fearless. They don't think they're ever gonna die. So
Look,
like
that
my son
I
is
mean,
he jump out shit all the time, like bones don't break or something. Like they don't give a fuck.
yeah. That lesson we learned
I mean,
is our accountability.
my dad wasn't like that. He was the type, he literally yeeted me into the pool, bruh. So, like, my whole perception, I was already afraid. And then he was like, gone in there. I was like, nah. And then I just saw bubbles. I was in there. So, some of our parents just yeet us into situations and then, like, to talk smack after the fact. I think that there is that percentage there we need to call out. The ones that are mad that they went through it, so we get yeeted into the metaphorical pool.
Yeah, I understand. Outliers are always that thing, and it's not truly an outlier because I'm pretty sure a lot of people go through that situation. It's
Yeah.
with the how do we fix it for the whole?
Well, so
Yeah.
what my question really is more of like with this generation, because I mean we got a lot of, I like to say we got a lot of time in this world right now. For us, we have enough time to make a little bit of a difference. But
Mhm.
knowing that like our parents weren't very accountable, and knowing that like that's a huge thing for us, how do we go forward and changing the newer generation's mind and on being more accountable for their things and understanding how life actually works, and especially like for young men, teaching them that it's okay to be accountable for your situations and you're not gonna get like condemned for it, because a lot of situations that happens, I know me, I was young and I was stupid and I make dumbass decisions, but I wouldn't be accountable for the situation because I thought like if I admitted to doing anything, the whole world would crash down on me. So how do we lead the newer generation to understand that it's okay to still at least fucking be accountable for yourself
And the
and
things you do.
yeah, and admit where you went wrong at.
Well, for one, we need to start
Um,
admitting that we were wrong for certain things.
Yeah, most people
Yeah.
need to
We
learn that.
also have to learn that our parents weren't always right, but for some reason they believed that everything they did for us was the right thing to do.
I mean, they kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
Right, right. So, in order for us to teach the next generation accountability, is to kind of look at it
Yep.
backwards.
Be
Is
accountable.
I
right.
I totally agree with that. I think it's as simple as and as complicated as disrupting the pattern. That's really what it comes down to. Like you have to be accountable for and say what it is that you're doing and get to a point to resolve that. But I think it's more understanding once you get why you're repeating it, because somewhere it's like, yeah, I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired of getting that treatment. I'm tired of seeing that behavior. Somewhere you have to disengage and stop. Like that's the hard part.
Right.
And a lot of time we have that attachment, that love, that care, that empathy. And it's not to say that these are bad things, but if the situation is not serving you somewhere, if it's not exalting you, if it's making you worse, then I think that there's something to be said for healthy detachment and stopping it so that you could disrupt that pattern and look at it from a lens of not always being in it. Because that is the most exhausting thing.
feel you on that. Um, I think the biggest thing that I also want us to remember, and one thing that's going to help the further generation, is starting with our kids as well. Uh, when it comes down to accepting accountability, we also have to accept the fact that we're accountable for our kids. Our kids did not they weren't brought in this world for us. They were brought in this world by us. They don't owe us anything. A lot of the times we feel like we have to do certain things to please our parents and do certain things to please our family, but at the end of the day, like, yes, you want that to happen, but at the end of the day, that is not always your job. Your job is to make sure you please yourself and you do what's best for you. And learning that when you have a kid, their job isn't to do what you want them to do, is to do what's going to make them happy and let them know that it is okay to understand that and accept that. Because, like, you gotta accept who you are to be accountable for who you are. And a lot of
Absolutely. A
times,
kid's main job is
like,
to learn who they are and exist.
a lot of times families don't want to accept anything new in the family. So like if you're in a relationship, right, and you decide, you know what, I want this relationship to be open, especially Southern families, they finna smack the
Oh
shit out of you.
man.
Definitely.
They coming at you on the side of your head because they're like, what do you mean an open relationship? Nah, like what do you mean you're doing all this craziness? It's a little wild, but at the end of the day, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you.
Right.
You have to get that in mind. And I feel like once we start understanding that and understanding that our new generation that we're bringing up needs to understand, look, this is for you. Your life is yours. It's not mine. Can I help you? Yes. Will I help you? Yes. But at the end of the day, it is your life. So if you decide, hey, I want to, if my son came to me and said, hey, I'm gay, that's your life. It's not mine. It's yours. That's
Exactly.
what you want. Go for it. Be careful. Come to me. Talk to me. But I feel like we open that door for them to feel like they can come to us. They'll be more accountable for their actions because they feel like, hey, listen, they're not going to judge me. I feel like right now our generation's so afraid of being judged. Like when it comes down to saying how you truly feel on type of some kind of platform, whether it be YouTube or anything else like that, and somebody says, "Oh, yo, I feel like that's homophobic," they immediately judge them, and everybody's afraid of that. So nobody wants to be
Mhm.
accountable for the things that they're doing wrong. And I'm just using that as an
Exactly.
example. I'm not saying that like that's all for everybody's situation, but people are afraid of being judged. Nobody wants to be judged, so they never admit anything that they've done wrong. They've never admit like, and you see it often in relationships. Whenever you
Mhm.
talk to a relationship as like talk to somebody who's ever broken up with someone, and you only talk to that one person, you will only get one side of that story. You will never
Yep.
get both sides.
Yep.
So you would never know the
Mhm.
true like truth of that situation, and especially right now, no one's going to want to admit where they went wrong at because you want to present your best self, not your worst.
Right.
I
You
think
have to be
I'm
like
guilty of that.
Yeah.
incredibly honest with yourself.
I think though when it comes to changing the whole situation and just kind of like you said, your kids, we have to be accountable for kids that aren't ours. And I don't mean just, oh, he's playing with my kid, so I'm watching him right now. I mean actually truly knowing the kids around your kid, knowing the kids of your neighborhood. Hey, his mom and his dad ain't shit. So maybe I can do what I can when they come over. Make sure you eat. Make sure that
Yeah.
they that normal. This is not okay. And my biggest story about that is when I was in middle school, I had a white friend, Cole, and I went and spent the night over his house. And fucking, we had breakfast in the morning. His dad gave me a B12 vitamin. I didn't even know what the fuck that was.
Make you feel good.
We went
Yeah.
out there, football workout in the backyard. We ate lunch. Like, this was shit that I wasn't accustomed to. But them motherfuckers treated me like I was theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it changed your whole perspective.
Yeah, for real.
Changed my perspective on everything. Like, okay, this is not normal.
Facts.
You
I
know, and
understand
I'm
that.
hoping that's one thing that doesn't die as the generations go on, where the parents treat other kids like their own.
For real.
Mhm.
And that's
Well,
what
see,
I
'Cause again,
love about
that's
the black, where you could walk down the street and like somebody from up the street that you knew could call your mom and they'll be on your ass in a second. Like I
Oh, yeah.
love that about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like where along the way we lost that shit. We lost it. Like
I agree it was lost, but that was half orchestrated to bring down. That unity was strong, and it was noticed. I promise you that.
hey,
Like you can't keep denying people homes and communities, and then think that that's not going to be disrupted. It is part on us, but that one I can't. I've seen how that gets destroyed. You're totally right.
oh,
I
I got
just
a
think
similar story.
we have to,
What?
like Big Brother programs and shit like that. Like all of that shit is gone. So we have to
Yeah.
keep
You can't even find a Boys and Girls Club anymore.
exactly
But I mean,
because
that's not the
go ahead, my bad.
like you said, the Big Brother programs and all those things are like you said, they're gone, but not necessarily.
Right.
They've died down because they've started asking for a lot in order for people to get their kids into those programs.
Exactly.
And I'm not just talking about
Financially.
you know, yeah, more financially than anything.
Yeah.
Most of those programs turn out to be really fucking expensive.
Yeah.
So
And
as the numbers die down, they start cutting back on the programs, and the programs just kind of disappear.
and that's
Yeah.
what like that's what I'm saying. Like somebody like us, we have to be accountable for that. Somebody who
Right.
doesn't want to do that shit for money.
Right.
Because like, in terms of even speaking Black history, it's fucking February. I can talk Black history. The problem wasn't that Martin Luther King died. It's the fact we didn't have nobody else like him.
Right.
True.
Everybody else was out for money and pride and fame.
Mm-hmm.
This was the only motherfucker walking the streets like, fuck y'all. I can be rich right now. I'm not taking it.
Yep.
I'm really out here for people's rights. I'm really out here to make shit better.
See, I get that completely. I feel like the whole thing was like I love his idea because it's the same thing as Malcolm's idea, which is the same thing as it's unfortunately Farrakhan's idea. Like I don't agree with Farrakhan, but if you look at it in a what the end game is, since it's all the same, take it upon yourselves, like ourselves, to do the same things that we're doing. Like the government made these people martyrs because we were almost at a point where the collective, like the black collective, understood that each of us as an individual can do the same things that Martin, Malcolm, like anybody did. It doesn't even matter, but we're so, I don't even want to say like, I don't think that it's entirely on us. I mean, at a certain point, you have to you have to once again take that accountability for your own actions and see like what it is that you're contributing to your society and to the group around you, like even if it's only like 4 or 5 people. But we don't do that like as a whole. Like there are people that, there's somebody in my family, I'm sure there's people in your families that, we think back, they were Black Panthers, they were civil rights activists.
Right.
And I feel like this is a good start, like talking about it, getting it out there. But at the end of the day, where's the collective? Like, where's the person in the next, in the next zip code who I can go talk to about some shit that may have gone down? I mean, right now, I know it's Tracy Fan. Like, I know that that's the person that if something happens on a social level, I can go talk to her and it's going to get put out on every radio station. There's going to be something on Facebook. But other than her, who's putting themselves out there? Who's making it known that they really want to help?
Exactly.
Nobody want to be blackballed.
Nobody. Exactly.
Well, that and it's you got people not wanting to accept that kind of responsibility. Everybody's now kind of like, hey, it's for me, myself, and I right now. So nobody's wanting that responsibility of you know having to I don't know how else to kind of like put this. Nobody wants the responsibility of having to have all eyes look on them.
Right.
They don't want everybody to like. While they would love to be a person that'll be a part of the movement, nobody wants to lead that movement.
Right.
Okay.
I can agree with that. I do. I also think that some people don't have an organize or a network worth a damn, to be quite frank. It's funny. It's like I've seen people put together a Facebook group just to talk about something stupid.
Right.
Better than pulling a group of people together to have a serious conversation about their community and the state of where things are. But I can't say to be known at this point is heavy. I can understand not wanting that weight, everything going viral, the threat of being doxxed, death threats if someone disagrees with you. Like I can understand all of that. But I also don't. I don't know if people. I don't know if enough of them see themselves in that light. And then on top of that, I've noticed that a lot of times our leaders are often political or religious. And those are two areas where in the Black community there's a serious lack of trust and faith. So it's very hard to get a leader to come from those standpoints that tend to have more mental and social weight these days anyway. It's kind of weird. At one point we could say it was Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or whatever, but it kind of faded into the background with, also the pitfalls of going viral. So it's at this point, if a younger, influential Black person were to take it on, the biggest question that they're going to have to start answering is how do you get not just Black men, Black women, but also young and old to sit in a room and have a conversation without using their cell phone genuinely to get to the heart of the problem, be serious about how they feel about it and not be ready to cast.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Because we're good at it. If you look at Black Twitter, throwing blame is like an Olympic pastime for us. We know how to call people out. We come with receipts. We roll heavy. We roll deep. So how do you bring somebody out
We got to stick
to feel
together.
comfortable
Amen.
when you're dealing with your own color mafia?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's crazy that you say that because you're right. Right now, we need to get all the previous generation and somehow sit them down with the current generation. But the problem there is going to be that the previous generation, for some odd reason, doesn't like listening to what the new generation has to say because they've already set up their minds to think their specific way.
Yeah. the previous
the-
generation is still learning.
Well, see, and that's
Right.
where I say we start here. We start now because right now this generation, and I'm gonna say we create our own generation because like there's a distinct few of us and like this little middle ground where we're not old heads, but we're not new heads either.
Right.
Like I couldn't care
Yeah.
for either one of you guys, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like for my
Oh,
generation right here, the group of us, I want to. I see a lot of change being able to happen. I see more as the older generation kind of falls back into the background of the world,
Mhm.
and our generation is kind of more of like now looked at as the elders. I won't say like the elders, but like we're looked at
look,
as role models. People look at us as an example, which is
as
Right.
crazy as hell for us to say now.
the words of the
Yeah,
Yeah,
goat,
we're auntie and uncles.
we are the little brothers and the big brother at the same time.
Fact,
Yeah.
we're
J.
the middle
Cole.
child
Crazy
right
how
now.
that works.
We're the middle child, and if anybody can speak on middle child, it's me. Damn it, I
Me too.
fucking hate it. I hate it. I hate it because you don't get any of the attention, but
Nope.
you don't get really a lot of attention. You do
But
get
you
in
don't get
trouble a
ignored.
bit, but like
Yeah.
you don't get ignored. You kind of
You just
like
there.
yeah. Yeah, they will notice if you fuck up. That's the one thing
Oh
I
yeah,
will say. If you
definitely.
start messing up, they immediately will point you out for it. But at the
Yeah.
same time, accomplishing things is kind of like, yeah, okay, here, throw you a bone a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Around my nigga, second time.
Exactly. Like, what can you do next? They always looking for the next thing from me. But that's what I'm saying. Like, as a generation here, as a stand here, moving forward and trying to direct the new generation into a better lifestyle than what we had. Because, like, at the end of the day, everybody wants to look at the past. Everybody wants to look at, like, how, like, especially the black community. I understand we went through some extreme, serious ass fucking hardships. When the hell are we gonna band together and move forward to try to make ourselves better so that we don't have to look back anymore? Right now, we spend a lot of time looking backwards rather than looking forward. Like, let's look at what we have rather than what they've had. They gave us all that they had at the time, so it's time for us to give what we have to make the newest generation better.
They don't trust it though. And
No.
and that's the thing. If they don't trust it, they're immediately defensive. It's a it, it's that conversation when you try to talk about, finances or economics. It's always in that one, and it's a good example. You're like, hey, I'm working, da 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 da. Well, you need to save and do this and go to school. Okay, well, how am I going to afford rent and afford school? Find time to go to school, find time to go to work. If I have a loved one or a kid, or you're at a point in life where you are trying to build and you're also trying to maintain that growth, and there's like a disconnect because they automatically don't trust that you have to take a different process. It's not that you're not going for the similar things or wanting the same, values. You're gonna have to go about it your way, and if you don't do it their way, it's like that's not the plan that I had for you. Because I think they idealize or romanticize an ideal for us. Like, I know I grew up always hearing you got to be a doctor or you got to be a nurse or you got to be this, that, and the third. And I always noticed that not only was it these jobs that do have merit, I'm not going to say that, but they're not the only ones that pay well. They're not the only
Right.
ones that add to society, but
Right.
these are the ones that have been pushed in their face to
Right.
accept. And it's that right there. Where do you get them to try to understand something that wasn't immediately pushed and ingrained in
Hmm.
doctrine to be acceptable for them to have a conversation to
Right.
talk to you as a person?
And that right there is the thing that I was talking about. A lot of the previous generation, they grew up in times where they had to do manual labor to get paid, feed their family. Nowadays, we
Yeah.
could just get on our computer, or the current generation could just get on a computer and fucking hack out 40 hours of work from home.
Or if you're lucky, you can just play
But for
fucking
some
video
reason,
games.
they still don't see that as working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got
Mhm.
you. I'm
For
picking
real.
that one up.
So
Like,
that like you said, that right there is the disconnect that needs to be spoken about. And both sides have to be open to each other's, not opinions, but more of their mental state
Yeah.
of the
I
or
have
the
a
weight of it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, to be a millennial is just, for lack of a better term, fucking weird.
No, it
I
is. It
have a
definitely
little.
is.
It just is like, in trying to explain it to not just my younger cousins and nieces, or kids coming up, but also trying to explain it to the 60-year-olds. Like, and just for perspective, my parents are not 80s parents or 90s parents. My parents are boomer parents, like tail end of boomer parents. They're
Oh,
like, it's wild.
okay.
Yeah. So they had me in their 30s. I'm a late baby. So it's very, I just kind of noticed it. We have a brick in our hand that shows light, different pictures, images from all over the world that is allowed. We can play games, we can look up things, we can create digital media from that,
Yep.
and the whole nine. But
You
when
can
I
get
grew up,
famous
I
off
don't
that brick.
remember having that. Yes, the brick on the wall with the coily, pigtail cord that would stretch all the way to the living room. We went
Yep.
from a whole world into a new digital era, and the world that we know is currently dead. I remember there wasn't like, the Verizon and Singular we have now. I'm sorry, Verizon and Sprint. There was Singular back in the day. There was
Yeah.
paid, like, hard phones for real, and pay phones that you could still put a quarter in. Like, I remember net zero dial up, bruh. Like, when you had to pay $10 for internet. Okay?
And you
Like,
couldn't go online without somebody picking up the phone, because then it would just cut
Mhm.
the internet
Right.
off.
thank you. Like, you turn on the computer, it takes like 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden you got mail. So
Yeah.
like, it's a whole,
AOL.
it's a whole,
Forgive me?
yes, it's gone now though.
Forgive me
It's
for this.
dead, and
That just
we're
unlocked
living
the
in
whole
the
memory right
remnants of
there.
that.
I
Yes,
vaguely
it's a
know a little bit
throwback.
about any of this that y'all talking about,
Heard.
cause like, all right, listen, I'm sorry, I'm the youngest one here. Only thing I know of is like the long computer wait times, but at the same time, I've never had a situation
You never
where
had
I never really paid attention to the computer
This
around that time.
dude.
So no, y'all called somebody when I was on the
you
computer. I didn't have to worry about that.
don't remember little AOL disc that used to come in the mail like 30 days free?
Dude,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember seeing those, but I didn't know what it was
Yes.
for. Like,
Nigga, that was internet back in the day, bro.
oh shit.
Yep.
That was
Like,
That's what they
internet.
used to call a free trial.
Yeah,
yes.
And it makes sense.
Wait,
No, no, no.
those shits to come. You'll have internet for 2 months. That shit gone, and then you'll
Yep.
have it when that shit get another.
Yep.
It was so surreal to live in that time. Like, there's kids mad about Redbox. I'm like, bro, I used to have to walk up in there and haggle with my
Yep.
parents for 2 movies and a sucker, bro. Like,
Blockbuster.
you don't know the
Blockbuster.
struggle. Thank
Blockbuster.
you. Like,
I know about Blockbuster.
Yeah.
no.
When Netflix only did DVDs that you could like get sent to your house, there was none of this streaming shit.
Yo, yeah, back when it was a true beta.
Yeah.
You couldn't pick your little profile picture on your account. Wasn't no account to pick.
I was just thinking
Yep.
about DVR, to be honest with you. Like,
Y'all
Yeah, VHS,
we
all
don't
that.
use DVR anymore. All streaming devices. That's everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
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 Bruh.
that was less than 10 years
y'all
ago.
remember Evo?
We all gotta remember
Yeah.
the orange tape, VHS tape.
oh yes,
Oh, the
man.
Nickelodeon tapes?
Yes. Classic.
Yeah.
I remember those. Rugrats, my boy.
Yeah, Rugrats.
Rugrats.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm gonna throw a real good one at you. I want to see if y'all remember back when you could go to McDonald's, and back when they had Ronald McDonald, Groundness, and the Hamburglar. You get your little kids meal. Not only do you get a toy, you mess around, you might get a purple VHS, and you might have a
Oh, yup.
movie to go home and watch with your little kids meal. Not many people
Yeah.
remember the dinosaur puppets for fucking Jurassic World in the Burger King. Like, y'all didn't even get good toys, and y'all, like, come on, man.
Mm-mm.
I remember the
You
best.
be out there trading Tamagotchis.
The play place at McDonald's was lit. That's the only reason we
Oh
wanted to go.
yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
for real,
always.
for real.
Even though it was only 3 tubes in a slide, fuck it. I wanted to go.
There was a ball pit in there too. Don't front.
Okay, I
That is
forgot about it.
legit.
Oh yeah, that ball pit was
No,
lit.
no, 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 no. I'm gonna tell you what y'all forgetting about. Is when they had the Nintendo 64 at McDonald's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where you can sit there.
Oh
That's
my
the only reason
God.
why I wanted to go to McDonald's is to be able to go and sit in there and play the
And play video
Nintendo
games.
64.
Yeah.
How about anything
Can't
else I
blame
got going on? I want to play the game.
Yep.
I'm just glad Walmart still has those. So when Tay shopping, I can be out doing stuff.
Yo,
You ain't
the
even
one
gotta
that
be
used to
like
break your
that.
neck.
Playing the
Bruh.
devil.
Yeah.
You break your neck, you over there looking like this, like shit.
That was the first time I
But you're
played
like,
Guitar
screw it.
Hero,
This
man.
shit's fun.
For
Facts.
real.
And I was short, so
Exactly.
like I was straining like a motherfucker. I gotta see this.
So, like, y'all get what I mean. Like, our whole world that we started with, that we grew up with, is dead and gone. Like, we are
Yep.
lucky if we get some of our cartoons on streaming on Netflix.
For
So,
real.
I had this conversation with my dad and my mom and a few old heads that I've gotten to know in the family and just friends of family. Like, do you have a problem talking to me about real world issues because you're disconnected because your world is gone too? And when I make it known to them that I'm displaced just like you are, that there's a whole generation out there trying to figure out what the hell is going on just like you are, and we mad about our bills, and we mad about the state of rent and why that won't stop fucking rising. We mad about the state of our fast food and our memories fading and the TV shows basically repeating. Why not talk to us about something real? And it's always a divide. After that, some of them feel better. They're like, okay, so you are paying attention. But the other half is like, they are so comfortable with the reality that they have picked that to disturb them has honestly caused them to become a liability or a danger to me. And it's almost a conversation that's too dangerous to have because I've threatened them and called them out on something that they just are comfortable or don't want to know is real.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Okay, but
another
you-
thing is they get stuck in their time, and it's hard to get them out of it.
It goes back to the
Exactly.
accountability thing. Like they don't want to take accountability for the shit they do.
That we getting old.
Yeah, like we getting old now, and life is changing for us.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want to take accountability for like the fact of like y'all are grown. We need to stop treating y'all like kids.
Yeah.
The truth
Right.
is, people take more pride in saying I tried than saying I succeeded.
Yes, there's
Facts.
a lot of I
Well, it's
tried.
easy to give up though. It's easy
Hey,
to give up.
hey, the favorite one. He's trying. Oh my god.
Trying his
Hey,
He's
best.
No,
trying.
man.
Hey, Keith, I'm trying to stay away from that. Leave me alone.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's-
Hey,
that's
the
truly the
the
worst
drink
one,
talking a
man.
little bit for me, but that shit right there came straight to mind when you said tried. I was like, fuck it, it is what it is.
We don't
But
get
seriously, that's what most of our parents say. Like, in my personal, oh man, one of the things that hit me the hardest in like the last, what it's been like 2 years,
Yeah, about two and a half.
2.5 years. I was in a crazy shitty situation. Oh, sorry, a crazy situation. Oh, my bad, man.
Go ahead. Go
No, you're
ahead.
good.
I was in a crazy situation in Colorado, relationship wise, and my mom told me that she would like take me in, like give me a free place to stay, uh, what help me out with college, like all the stuff that it was going to take to get me back on my feet. And I was like, wow, after we haven't talked in so many years.
we always can count on mama.
Yep.
Yeah,
Always.
exactly. That's what I thought. Like it was going to be some shit that changed our whole relationship. I spent my last like $750. I get down there. She won't pick up my call or let me in. No, sorry. The first call she picks up, she tells me that, it's not going to happen and she won't let me inside. And she won't let me in the door. She won't even give me the address of where she is.
What?
And it's so messed. I flew from from Denver, Colorado to Raleigh, North Carolina I wasn't even in Greenville. I was trying to get to Greenville, but to Raleigh, North Carolina. And I mean, my family's there, but I just flew. My phone's almost dead. You're the only phone number that I got. I got some people on Facebook, but that was going to take a minute. So,
Yeah.
and you just left me there. Like, and then, my cousin comes eventually. I sit in the airport for like, it had to be at least 6 or 7 hours. And eventually my cousin comes and gets me. Raleigh is like an hour from Greenville, by the way. Like, it's not a long drive. It's not a long drive. Um, but yeah, my cousin comes and gets me. I spend like a week in Greenville trying to figure shit out. And at the end of it, I go right back into that shitty situation, you know? And at that point, it was one of those things of I have to do this for myself because literally the reason that I am on this earth, like not this situation, not this state, but literally the reason why I exist is not gonna help me. So let's figure this shit out. That's pick yourself up by your bootstrap shit. Even though I hate that saying and
Fucking
it's
can't stand.
so dismissive, but you gotta do it. So I didn't mean to like just get off topic or anything, but
No,
Oh
parents
no,
Nah,
no,
we're
you
good.
good.
fucking wild.
that's
It-
perfect.
It's
What
Well,
you
expected.
saying? Uh
go ahead.
Oh,
No, no, fuck that. No, go ahead.
oh.
So it didn't even kill the
He's
vibe.
like, he's trying to wait for as long as he can. That's
I'm
what it feels like.
stalling,
Oh,
bro.
when I say like that right there that's a very true statement that like our parents are the reason we are here. So for us to have to realize that like some of our parents, and I'm not gonna say like all of our parents are horrible out here, but like some of our parents won't even acknowledge that like they brought people in this world and they kind of just told them, hey, listen, you got to figure it out on your own, cause like I had to figure it out on my own. And it's like, no,
Right.
no, no, no. I don't want to hear that because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Like, my favorite thing that I see on Facebook is two people in the fucking 90s decided to sleep together, and now I gotta pay rent, and they don't even like each other no more. This is some
They don't
bullshit.
even like each other, bruh.
Like you risked it all, and now I gotta pay these debts. I got people
Yep.
calling my phone, all familiar, asking me what's the last four of my social. Like, bitch,
I didn't ask to be here. Take me back. You know how you said you could take me out? Take me out, damn it.
wait. But then they have the audacity. Then when you grown, you start getting a little something popping. You could afford a subscription or two. Oh, where are my grandkids? That no, hell no, no. You ain't getting grandkids. I am
Right.
still traumatized for the fact that you brought me here.
No, you right. You're completely right. But it's not even the I don't know, like the monetary shit. Yeah, yeah, no. It's
I
why
gotta
did
talk to
well you
people.
gotta talk to your kids, you gotta let them be vulnerable around you. Like if even if let's say she didn't say shit about the school and she didn't say shit about, letting me stay there indefinitely. You put a hand out, like
Hmm.
you put a offering of genuine help,
Need help.
and
I,
that's trust on a level that not everybody gonna get like off the rip.
yeah,
You
no.
know, we grown. We've been like if you've reached the age of 25 and you ain't been hurt by somebody,
You
shit about to be
lucky.
real rough for you. You do. So when we're talking about a parent, like maybe and in the black community, father figures are also if they ain't even on the totem pole sometimes. Like that's not even somebody who most of us
And then
thought
you know when
of.
it's a problem, it's still on
Like
site.
there are father figures, There's that nigga who like you may think of who gonna help you, who's giving you good or like imparted good stuff to you. But end of the day, father is a very abstract thing for most young men.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking of a mother,
It's like
They play both roles.
even if we argue, yeah, they play both the roles. So you gotta, as a father, you gotta be there, but as a mother, it's definitely harder because it's seen to be more. But your kids really do see you as more. They see you as, somebody who deals with their father. Like if you're a man and you're in a relationship, you got stuff that you dealing with, regardless of what it is. There's something in that relationship where you've had to look at yourself and be like, that may be something that needs to be altered. Not necessarily changed because we don't want, to get into that, but just so I can coexist with this person because I love this person and I love this person more than I love myself, that pride issue. But when you're talking about like the mom, like that mother, you're the home, you're the love and they're the nurturer in that relationship. It's a odd thing to be told no.
Well, so I wanna piece this in on another side piece of a situation. When it comes down to the absent father and the mother has to be both. One thing we also have to understand as kids, we didn't accept that. We didn't accept that 100%. And I'm not saying your
No.
situation. I'm not saying in your situation this is yours. I'm saying more so in mine and a few others that I've seen. We didn't really accept that too much. We really kind of like they became the bad person at the end of the day. Especially if you really wanted to get in contact with your other parent, and they came in and they're bad mouthing the person you stayed with. You're gonna immediately like jump. You're gonna jump on their side. You're gonna be like, yeah, man, you're right, because like at the end of the day all they've done was tell you no about things. All they've done is be the strict parent on the situation. But at the end of the day, like they wanted what was best for you, and they only had like just them. They didn't have anybody else to bounce it off on. So like,
Yeah. No, from a kid's perspective, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And that's why two-parent households are vital, but they're not necessary. I've seen people come from single-parent households and thrive.
and those are fucking amazing.
The understanding, I feel like people need to know how to co-parent before they even know how to be in a relationship. If it's gonna take it to the point, it's like me and my baby mama might not have the best understanding, but when it
Same.
comes to our son, there's no argument. I might
That's
hate
fair.
the ground, walk on that motherfucking day, but if it has something done, all of that shit goes out the window.
That's respect.
That's what
So
this
people
generation needs to learn. That
that it's not about us. It's not about being a salty baby mama, salty baby daddy, whatever
It's
the
about
case
the
may be.
kids.
It's about the kid.
Yeah.
I can hate
End of the day.
Let's change
ground
that
you walk on.
statistic. Let's be there for our kids.
Exactly. But don't make the other parent to be a villain. Don't. Because that's what made me resent my mother. You made my dad out to be a villain, and goddamn it, turns out he was.
but damn it,
But
I didn't believe that at the time. No, because like you
that
talking all the
opportunity.
cold cash shit.
And then I have him telling me another story when I finally see him. And because I'm a black kid who wants a father, I'm listening to that shit. I'm eating it up.
Yep.
I'm taking it because I want this nigga around.
Yep.
Somebody show me how to do this shit. Like, I'm not shitting on no other race at all. I don't know what it's like to be you. I hope the best for you. But when it comes to being a black kid without a father, without a man, when it comes to being a black boy without another black man to teach you how to do this shit,
Hard as hell.
Hard.
it's hard. My God, it is fucking hard. I have to know how to act around white people. I have to know how to act around black people. I have to know how to be professional. I have to know how to keep a little hood about me so they don't try me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So much
You ain't lying.
that is, if I had a man to tell me how to do it, maybe I will be just okay a little bit more.
Yep.
But
if
I
I
gotta
could weigh in.
use
Oh, go
salty
ahead.
in. So that's another reason to hate myself.
Mm.
Yep. Like
Me
honestly,
still
I
out
get
that
that
guy.
completely.
It's like, motherfucker, I didn't do it. Bitch, I done loved you since I came out. What you want me to do?
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They expect you to fucking. They're okay with it, doing the bare minimum or less than the bare minimum, and they expect you to just accept it. And a lot of times we get called disrespectful or ungrateful for the fact that like we won't accept anything less than them doing the bare minimum, and they don't. Like I said, half time don't do that. They want
Exactly.
the praise of saying, "Hey, look, I put clothes on your back. You supposed to do that. I put a roof over
Mm-hmm.
your head. You supposed to do that. I gave you
Yeah.
food. You supposed to do that. If you didn't do any of those things, you would have went to jail. Do you really
Yeah.
want to do that? Like you can't hold that up against your kids' heads, and definitely in this generation, we have to be mindful of that. Going forward, like with our kids and bringing them into this world. Listen, like I do this because I have to do these things. Like the extra that I'm going to do is because I love you, but these things have to be done. So like if you are an asshole of a kid, and kids can be assholes, I am still going to do the
Yeah,
bare
we can.
minimum because like I have to do those things. Those are things that I have to do as an adult. That's an adult responsibility. And often nobody looks at it like that. They just look at it as, oh, I brought a kid in this world, but as long as they can eat and, keep themselves clothed, I've done what I need to do. That is not what you needed to do. You did what you had to do. But what you need to do is build a relationship with that kid. What you need to do is teach them what's right and wrong. Like, and teach them how to live life. Not just survive, but
Right.
live.
Again,
And you know what's
goes
crazy?
on. You're taking
I
accountability.
think you're right on that. Like a lot of the times we are, as a kid, we're taught how to survive. We're not taught how to live.
How to succeed. Right.
Right.
We all
And I
figuring
think
this shit
that's
out by ourselves right now.
right. And I think that's a
This,
big
Yeah.
they don't know how to do it.
right.
Right? they don't know how to do it. They're not willing to put the time in to do it.
Mhm.
It's a
They have to
truth that
admit they don't know.
black women graduate college more than any other group of people. But a lot of them end up at an assembly line because they can't get a job as a nurse. So they're not. They're just telling you, "Hey, baby, you better. If this job pay you $17 an hour, and the one you at pay $14 an hour, you need
Go
to
for it.
leave. Even though that $14 an hour has benefits, has time, vacation, all of that other shit. Nah, you're taught to chase the dollar
Yep.
because that's what they've been given. And I'm not just shitting on black women at all. I'm saying that's what they've been given. They haven't been given a fair shot. So what are they teaching? Hey, you're not gonna get a fair shot, so take what you can get.
You're not wrong. You
Genuinely. That is so true. Like, my mom ended up in the army basically because her aunt, her guardian at the time, wanted her to be a nurse. And the situation was very toxic. It wasn't healthy, so she joined the military. And
Her
then
first out.
even in the military, yeah, she faced toxicity. When she got out, she faced toxicity. So where she end up? Post op. And I was the one looking at that every day. Like my dad had left by 10. So like my nurturer became my father as well. And I watched it change her. I watched how she would just come home, sit on the couch and be exhausted, literally with a beer in her hand. I would cook dinner because honestly she needed the help. If I noticed that like, hey, there were bills on the table because I would go and check the mail, I would remind her of that. I stepped up and I tried to help her out, and I began to see the perspective of what a lot of men do go through. It's just the body, the roles have reversed, and it's not. You're right. It's not. It's not really a healthy situation. It's not okay to always chase the dollar, but I will admit this is it's a fear-based action. It's a survival-based action. Because now that she's not in the workforce, now that she can calm down, she can breathe, she's retired, she's a happier individual. But in the time that she felt like that's all she could do, she did that. And it plays a role. And when you look at men who are going through that, it's the same. I do see a lot of men doing that too, chasing the dollar. It's just a matter of how are you going to internalize it, or are you going to externalize it? Are you going to become a control freak, or are you just going to allow everything to go? And are you able to even admit it and accept help? It's an endemic at this point.
Like, that's what I'm saying. That's why we have to be better and take accountability for kids that aren't out. Because we all understand that there's parents around here. There are fucking shitty parents who bring kids in this world, and we can't stop them from doing it. But we can help bits that we can help. I held the fucking football. Like, I love football. I play football. If y'all didn't know, that's what I do. It's my fucking passion. I held the football camp for kids completely free. I'm not charging you anything. One kid showed up. One kid. When all these moms on Facebook, oh, my son needs something to do and all of this. Hey, I'm here. I'm ready. One kid shows up. So that gets to the point where it makes you not want to try. And for a minute, I didn't. And now I just help kids individually, but it took a toll on me. It did. Because it's like, fuck, I'm trying. I'm trying to make my world a better place, and it's not changing a goddamn thing.
Well,
so you get this.
But you see, you're.
Go ahead. My bad.
No, you're on the right. You're on the right track. So like, I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't give up. I mean, I know that's a lot harder to do than actually say. But like, when I say that, like, speaking in this situation, like what you're saying, be accountable for, kids that aren't ours. It's not their fault. And if one kid sees it and they like it, they're bound to tell their friends about it. Hey, man, I'm gonna want to go do football over here, training camp. And they go and they tell their friends about it. At that next point, you may have kids to just decide to say, hey, I'm going to go do this on my own. Especially with our generation, we're known for doing shit on our own because of the fact that that's all we had. So if there are still parents out here that are only going to do stuff on their own, they may see it from like a standpoint of like from friends. It could be just between friends. So like, I wouldn't say just give in just that easy.
Oh no, I'm not giving up, man. It's something that I really want to do, and that's the only reason I'm preaching this shit right now about being accountable. Like, I'm not gonna stop. It's just I understand the discouragement. I also I understand that all hearts and minds aren't built the same. That's why I don't expect you to understand the shit that I go through. I don't understand the shit that you go through. I might understand the gist of it, but I don't understand it affects you. But like speaking for me, I'm not gonna give up. But I can understand when someone gets discouraged from trying and decides to give up. Like, I get it. I just feel like we have to fight past that shit if we truly want to change this next generation. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a piece of it. We're never gonna fix the whole problem. We can try, but like I said, you parents, you just do. And that's why when I hear and I hate to get political, but Republicans with all anti-abortion and all that, and I'm like, okay, well, how many kids have you adopted? None? Okay,
exactly. And most of those kids that go into the system are not treated well at all. The foster care system's not meant to help those kids, it's meant to get the parents or the foster parents rather paid.
That's it.
That's the only thing. I wish it was for better things. I wish it was for the betterment of kids. But it's that same thing with the prison system. At least in America, it's not meant to better those people.
No,
No, rehabilitation.
No, it's not meant for rehabilitation. Rather, it's meant for the almighty
It's free.
dollar.
Yeah.
Everything's about
Yeah,
money.
seriously. Like,
Yeah.
not to get completely off topic, but in the same vein that you have to be accountable for the negative things that you do to other people, you have to be accountable to yourself. Like, so yesterday I'm gonna yesterday something well, not something happened to me, but rather I did something. I I was a manager at Chipotle for over a year. Like, I opened one of them in my town. Um, I did rather a lot of work for them. So it needless to say, if even if it wasn't a company I believed in, it was a company that paid me, you know? Um, I recently just started working there again because I'd quit. The GM of the store that I was working at did not care about that store. And it wasn't to an extent that most people, like, you don't care about your job, stuff like that. It was even so. Here's the thing: even if you don't believe in COVID, even if you think that it's the most like stupid thing in the world, what's the one thing that you would think a restaurant would want to do? A restaurant that has dishes, a restaurant that has tables. What's the one
Disinfect and
thing you would
clean.
think that restaurant wants to do? Exactly, my dude. Exactly. So we come to the end of the night, and I'm in a restaurant it's a busy Friday night. There are tons and tons of dishes, but it's a restaurant. I'm used to doing this. I've been doing this 10 years in four-star restaurants and mom and pop restaurants. I've been a server sometimes. I mean, kitchen is my main thing. So food quality and cleanliness, it was bred into me like by the time I was 17. That's just what it is. Um, and this dude, I call this guy because we're out of soap for the dishwasher. It's a simple fix. You're the general manager, which means this store is under your control. It is under your responsibility. Go get some fucking soap from another store. That's the simplest thing. Or call one of your people to do it. It's not even on you necessarily. You know what he tells me to do? Like, just give me one guess from each of y'all. Like, I don't mind. I really
Just
don't.
wash it with water.
Put some soap and water in a bottle and fill it up and get through these dishes. We're talking at least 400 pans of food and things people have touched, wearing gloves and not. I walked out. I walked out at 10 o'clock, right when shit shut down. I left 17-year-olds in there, all sorts of stuff. I did not care. I left. And I got to be accountable for that to myself. But in the
Yeah.
same vein, how am I gonna how as a person that believes in food and believes in the industry, even at its worst places, how am I gonna allow mold to grow and people to get sick? Like, when I got to that store, 4 people were coming back from COVID who worked there.
Wow.
Nothing is clean here. It's crazy. And you're one of and so literally the day before that, his boss came in and they're talking about how profitable the store is, how much money can be made if you just get more people in here. I'm telling, like, the day that I walked in that store, I tried to get behind stuff. I, if I told y'all what store this was, if we're really on live and people are listening, if they went to OSHA, that thing would be shut down today.
Dang.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we definitely live.
I just
And it's not the first time, and I hate to say it, probably won't be.
no, it won't be the last. It's just is ridiculous. Like, how I just but I have to be accountable to myself. I couldn't say, and so that's why I ultimately walked out.
Well, shit. If don't nobody else commend you, I do.
For real.
I appreciate
Because that takes a lot.
Somebody has to. Somebody has to stand up against shit like that, man. Like, companies have been conditioned to treat people like cattle.
Mm-hmm.
We're all replaceable. Like if you're a customer, you're replaceable. If you're a worker, you're replaceable. Like we've been taught that we don't matter. We're a number.
Mm-hmm.
So someone who actually has some fucking humanity about themselves does something like that. Hey, I can't do nothing but commend you. I did grades for a living at one point in time, and I saw some of the most inhumane shit. I want to be cremated, put it like that. So,
Mm.
man, like when you have humanity about you, you can't just watch bullshit happen. You can't.
Agree.
But that's the worst thing because the people that are in power, like the people that give us the jobs, are those people who don't even have the empathy to understand where we're coming from. They can't.
Because
It's either I just don't get it.
they're not there for
I
people.
can say, yeah, agree.
Yeah.
And then some of them start out like us, and they stick through for years and years, trying to cope through it. And once they get where they are, it's like something in them is dead. That can happen too. We've all had situations where it's like, if I stay here, I will hate it. I will hate it, and I won't care, and I will be exactly what I claim to be, like claim to not want to be. The thing that I bitch about when I go home at night. Like I've left so many jobs because of that.
It's a fucked up system. It really is.
Yeah.
My fault.
But
I've
money
been muted
has
this entire.
become more valuable.
The muted problem.
My apologies. But one of my favorite things to do, right, is pay attention to the policy of when you ready to quit a job, you got to put in a
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks notice. But if
Mm-hmm.
that job is ready to fire you, they ain't finna tell you 2 weeks before they finna fire you. No, they
Facts.
gonna
Oh,
fire your ass. They will fire you on the spot. But
Facts.
they
basically.
expect the 2 weeks notice so that they can get fixed up and they can, be prepared to be missing someone.
Right.
But they will not give you time to prepare, for any extra, pay or anything like that.
Right.
Your bills, get your bills together, anything like that. Or, hey, yo, let me get another job to replace this one job that I'm finna get fired from. No, fuck that. They fire you, right? They fire you, tell you that it's your fault. You got to go fix it. But if you quit on them and you just quit because they're shitty, it's still your fault. That makes no logical sense to me. This
Yeah.
generation alone,
It's
though,
gaslighting.
they will dead ass, and it is too crazy. They will leave from the smallest things, and I love it about this generation right now. It's
Yep.
like we will leave for the smallest shit. Disrespect me, I don't care. There was one post I saw. This one guy got upset because they says the manager was like, I don't like Harry Potter. So he's like, say it again, and I quit. That motherfucker walked out. Swear to God, walked out.
He stuck by his word.
Hey, I love that about this generation. They will freaking leave. And right now we have that understaffed situation. You want to know how you
Yeah.
fix it? Adhere to what we are asking for. Better pay
Yep.
and better livable situations. Y'all
Yep.
not doing that. We gonna sit there. Your
Yep.
business gonna go down. You gonna
Yep.
be frustrated. And the people who are working, y'all gonna be even more frustrated. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, like, I get it, I guess. You have to work because you got bills to pay. But, like, if we could
Yeah.
just all stop paying bills, would they really stop us? Could they really just, like, stop everybody here? I'm just
Yeah,
No.
yo.
No, they couldn't. No, they couldn't.
They're
If
like, yeah, the
everybody
house,
stopped paying bills,
the
they couldn't
house,
say
give
shit
me
to us.
it.
Yeah, you're right. You're
We
right.
are gonna be
I mean, we'd all be on the side of the road, but
Yeah, homeless is about to go up
The funny
heavy.
thing about it is that like the cost of a passport has been going up in the last few years. So like even if you did want to keep your dual citizenship, you gotta think about the literal cost that it takes to be, maintain, or withdraw being an American. That is something to think about. Anytime you want to be like, hey yo, I'm tired of this shit. Maybe it's different in other places. Healthcare is universal in other areas and stuff like that. Like you really gotta think about it because there is a price point for your citizenship, and that is something you can always throw on the table.
True.
I've heard go back to where you came from too many damn times not to consider it once or twice. I'll be honest with you.
And
Yeah.
that's true. What the fuck it is. And I couldn't put it no better because we're the richest country on the planet. It is what it is. Can't nobody else say anything. If you want to say something, bitch, meet me on the battlefield. But
No,
He's
no, it's
dying on his
true.
hill,
That's
damn it.
all
He's dying on
credit.
his hill.
the truth is money is everything to us. So when you have people stockpiling in and shit, we don't have that same opportunity to come up like they do.
Yeah.
Another thing.
Like inherit, like all these ideas and shit. Like, to be honest, if you hear the idea of socialism, we all do a little bit more in healthcare and school and all of that shit is free. What the fuck is, like, what's bad about that? But the thing is, we can't trust people.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
problem.
the number one
Yeah.
thing.
That's the only thing. The idea is fucking amazing. A utopian society, ain't that what the fuck we want? Everybody does their part,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
we can't trust people at the top. We can't trust our government. We can't trust the next man to
Right.
lay down because he knows we're gonna cover his ass.
Right.
Like,
Bruh, the government is the
But
main
now-
person that doesn't take accountability.
Right. No, but you're
They
right
won't never
about
take
that.
accountability for that.
You
None of
guys-
that.
but you have
You-
to make. That's one thing I can say. One thing, black people have not held the government responsible like other groups have. Like,
Fact.
you hear like a lot of Republicans and the right really screaming about gay people, but like you have to remember, you done had your foot on their neck for forever.
Yep.
Now that they're free, you want them to have some civility? Fuck no. They're gonna take it out on your ass.
Yep.
Well, that can go back to the black community as well too, because like they weren't very accepting either.
We never accept him. What you talking about?
Hey, that right now we taking a lot of L's for shit that we don't need to be taking L's for. We need to be kind of banding together with, but we taking a hell of a lot of L's right now for a community that is one of the strongest that's I know of. I would put it like that. I won't say
Yeah.
the strongest that's out there, but the strongest that I know of has went through a lot of shit and still been able to band together at certain moments.
Mhm.
What like, where is that? Where is that at now? Like, where is that at when your cousin come out and say that he likes dudes, and all of a sudden now you saying he got sugar in his tank and you treat him like he's a plague.
Right.
So like, that's a situation
like-
that like everybody has to like.
That's why I truly feel like they're just getting their revenge.
Hell yeah.
I truly feel like that when it comes to them suing everybody and making everything a big thing. This is just my revenge. You made a motherfucker live in the closet for all of eternity. We can all be real. Gay people have been around since humanity has existed. It has.
Yeah.
So for that long until now, they've had to stay in the closet. They've had to act like they don't. So now that they can exist, what the fuck do you expect? What do you
They
think
sure
they
as hell
did
making it known.
when America became a country? I can do anything. I'm free. Motherfuckers went wild. They were dueling in the fucking streets.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about
Like,
that.
it takes time, man. People have to hold their governments accountable, but you have to actually watch your power. Black people just haven't done it. We haven't. We haven't
If I could,
government accountable. We've asked them
there's
to accept us.
I mean, so I agree with you in the sense of like the whole of us, if you can say. I just can't think of us as a monolith, you know? Like there are black people in all sorts of demographics and not just economically, you know, there are black people with tons of kids that are not welfare, you know, like that are not the typical welfare queens, you know, like it's just
I agree.
I think that as a nation we haven't held our government accountable. I think there are too many groups and there isn't enough. I hate the word togetherness because I feel like it doesn't really encompass everything.
There's a lot of groups, but not enough
Because-
unity.
Exactly. Because we're not just looking out for, white people or black people. It's like that thing you were talking about, we're looking out for everybody's kids. We're looking out for everybody. because people as a whole are really shitty. Like they are. If you look at it on a grand scale, some of there are people that we held close to us that have done really terrible things. Um, not to, I hate talking about R. Kelly because I love his music. Like I grew up with his music, bro.
Hey,
For real.
somebody
Ignition used to
said you
play
can.
on my.
Somebody said you can like R. Kelly, you just don't need to like Robert Kelly.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
that
completely
works.
fair.
That works.
Yeah, and to that point, I was watching the documentary on Netflix because I had nothing better to do with my time, for real, for real.
You had some time
And
to kill.
exactly. And it came to a part where his brother was talking, and his brother was low key co-signing what he was doing, you know? And it's like I don't think anybody would have thought that he would say some crazy ish like that on national television,
It's a
but he did it, you know? And on that level, like if people are willing to say this out in public, how can you trust anybody as a whole, like on a government level, on a personal level, anything? So when we choose these leaders, and or not, hell, not leaders, these are people who get paid. When we choose these people who are about to make decisions for a group of people, like a principality, a state, a county, why are we as a whole allowing these people to be divided? You know, there's some reason why we're all so disconnected, and it happened. It happened sometime around like because the '90s were cool from what I understand. You know, I was born in '94. Shit seemed alright. We still thought white people were crazy, like as black people, but we had more white friends. Like we had more Latin friends. We had more. My mom took me some to one of her friends when she was in college, and that was an Indian family. That was the first time I had curry. It blew my mind. But I don't think that us as a people engage in those kinds of experiments anymore, in those kinds of, well, at the very least, social experiments, or in those kind of interactions. And I just don't get it. I don't understand where that wonder went
If
to
I
understand another people.
Yeah.
if I can retort to that, only thing I'm saying is when I say black people, it's because that's who I've been around. And to be honest, if I'm being quite frank on this while I'm live, some of my best experiences in life have been with white people.
Facts.
Facts.
Being
Facts.
being at a bonfire, being at like some of the best moments in my life have been shit that's been introduced to me by white folk.
Bro,
So
I learned to play bass guitar from my friend's dad. A white man. Crazy as
man,
hell.
I used to skateboard, bro. I
Yeah,
used to fucking
skateboarding.
skateboard.
Bro, I got into X Games because of my white
Facts.
friends. Bro.
But
They will show
even
you
then, I don't want to sound like I'm co-signing
world.
like everything everybody does because I can't.
That's why I say
Sorry,
when
not
I
to
say
cut you off.
that's the only reason I say it. Like this is who I'm around. This is who I see struggle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A lot of the white.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they don't struggle, but they have a more grasp on what America is in their view than what we do.
Yeah.
A lot
right.
of us
We built it for them in the more majority of it. Yeah,
agree, and there are plenty ways out. We're just not taught that they exist.
right.
10 years ago, I didn't know that you could
I
make computer. Motherfuckers been doing it for forever. You know,
I
so
get that. Yeah,
that's just how I see it. But I totally agree. I think people need to come together more, but that's just what I see. When I hear all these
no,
statistics from fucking like a Steven Crowder or a Ben Shapiro of black people do this and black people are fucking 90% of the crime and shit like that, it
it's
makes me
ridiculous. It's yeah.
yeah. So
I just and it. Oh, I'm not sure.
go ahead. Nah, go ahead. Speak, bro.
But I agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's so in the sense of like I'm a black dude and I should. It's that aspect you were saying earlier. It's something else I agreed with that you said earlier, where if you didn't have a dad, it's hard to be a black man to relate to other black people, you know. And in my experiences, I have been around more white people in a beneficial way.
Right.
So in my eyes, I would see it differently than someone who's been around more black people in a beneficial way. You know what I
Look,
mean?
Right.
And
look,
that
if
sucks. That really does. Because at least in high school, you don't if you're not having those experiences, you don't have black friends. So I'm this 6'2" dude who is hanging out with all these fucking white kids, and it looks weird from the outside. Like even my mom's saying it looks a little weird, but those are the people that interact with me. And now, like I'm 28, and I'm having to deal with that, like in interviews and in situations where I not necessarily need these people, but I got to show my best side. So do I, what am I gonna show to which person and who am I as a whole? Like it's just I get what you're saying. To be short of it, I'm sorry I was cutting you off the whole
No,
time.
it's fucking six of us trying to speak. Is gonna get.
yeah,
It's
Just a little
cool,
bit.
man. I'm trying not to overspeak because I'm drinking a little bit. So.
facts.
But
Hey, sometimes you gotta get the little juice going.
I
Yeah.
totally get.
No, being
If
friends with the
if I
opposite
can,
race, it definitely has its perks because you learn a lot more about how that side is, and you get a lot of
Yeah.
opportunities that you probably wouldn't get if you only was friends with your own race. Because, like, I know most recently I just moved back out to South Dakota, and I wouldn't have had a place to stay if it wasn't for one of my friends that I made back in, like, elementary.
Wow.
And he's white.
Good.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
he didn't even have to. He took me in full everything. Didn't have to pay him anything. He just wanted to see me do better. That's it.
That's awesome though. It really is.
But once
It
again,
is your perception, man. It's not just black against white. It's truly motherfuckers that are cool and motherfuckers that aren't.
Yeah.
facts.
Snakes.
Exactly. Some people truly want to see the best out of you. And those are the people that you have to cherish in life.
Definitely.
Which is why, like, I did not try to destroy Kesey's vision of my father, our father, because I felt that same shit. I felt what it was like to need and want and have a dad. So I didn't want to taint that image, even though it was twice that I came to him and I was like, "No, this motherfucker ain't who you think he is, bro."
No bullshit. No bullshit. When he first told me that, I was like, man, you full of shit. Fuck you. Okay? That was me in the very beginning. When he first was like, hey, this man ain't what you think he is. Why you play hate? It's kind of where I was coming for. Like, you disrespecting him, and we gonna have to throw heads. Like, I was ready to go to war for that man. All right? That's why
Your
it
little
hurt so bad.
like talking shit. I'm like, who the fuck?
At one
This
point, I was like, bro,
motherfucker-
why am I the younger brother acting like the oldest brother out here? I'm trying to get everybody
Bro,
to like
if I
Pop.
could boost the dude through the phone and killed that nigga at that moment, I swear to God, I would have.
On God, I was so disrespectful with it because I did not care. Like, you not finna disrespect my pops in front of me. I was pissed. Like, you finna disrespect that man in front of me whole time, bro, in the shadows working. He got the whole plan cooking up. This is my pawn right here. He gonna do all the dirty work, all right? I'm gonna make sure he do all the good shit, bring them over to me so I can use them to do what I need. Before you know it, he gets freed from two of his burdens, and he still got one, and that's the one from me. And guess what? That's the biggest fuck you I can give, nigga. I hope you. Never mind. Let me finish. Let me stop before I get too deep into
Never mind.
this. Ooh, but seriously, I honestly I wanted to fight my brother. I swear on everything in me, I want to fight him anytime he ever disrespected my dad in front of me. Up until that one moment. That one moment I had to trust him here. That one moment when my dad's back was against the wall and he knew there was no way that he could lie his way out of it, finesse his way out of it. At that very freaking moment is when I was like, damn, I am wrong. Biggest pills I had to swallow, man. I had to go back to my mom and apologize for half the shit that we fought about. Cause like a lot of them I started. Cause like you disrespected my pops and I don't like that. I had to go and apologize for my brother because at the end of the day, like, yeah, I didn't know, but at the end of the day, like, I still was fucking in the wrong. So apologize when you're in the wrong. It doesn't matter whether or not you knew, you still were in the wrong, so go and apologize about it. And there was a lot of other people that I had to also go and apologize to because of the fact that, like, I had a veil pretty much over my eyes. All I saw, I mean, tunnel vision. My dad, I want to see him do great. You know, just like he would want to see me do great. At least that's what I thought. You
Yeah.
know, but
I
then
mean,
you
that's the
get
logical thought.
yeah, and then you get and you know the person, and you realize that half the time that you're doing things for this man. At the end of the day, he really don't care unless it benefits him. If we
Yeah.
call it like what the truth is, unless it benefited him, he didn't really give a fuck. Me going into the military, it benefited him because I told him I'd buy him a truck. I didn't realize how financially freaking poor the military is. Okay, I thought I'd be able to get in there and be like, first thing I'm finna do is get my pops a truck. He finna be driving in this motherfucker, right? Cause that's what I thought.
Hmm.
I wanted to take care of him because he told me as a kid for a few first few years of my life he took care of me. And then he was there when I was 11. Don't get me wrong, I won't take that from him. He came at a very pinnacle moment of my life, but he used that to the best of his advantage. And that's where it pisses me off at. Is he knew because I told him I look at you as a hero. You knew the dirty work that you were doing behind my eyes and behind my back to me is the most bitch made thing you could ever do to anybody. Take somebody that you know for a fact has got your back 100% and shit on them.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's just a hell of a dude, man. And
That's the only thing I can. Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't. My biggest regret to this moment is that I told you though. To this moment, I know you're gonna say, "Oh, I did the right thing" and all that, but the truth is, I changed everything for you, and maybe that wasn't my place.
Well, so hear me out here. Hear me out here. You
I know.
take.
Hold up, and you don't talk. Just let me get it out. I got you.
I
But
hear you.
just, just saying, like, and I know you. I know what you're gonna say, and I agree. But I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if it was my place to take that image from you because now I just gave another. And I'm not gonna say black boy because we just talked about that shit. I just gave another boy no father, you know. So
I mean, but we're not talking about taking away Santa, like, you took
yeah,
away this thing that doesn't exist, and you didn't take anything, so it you didn't take anything away in the situation, you know? It's one of those you inform somebody of a very unfortunate thing that somebody did, that somebody important did. It I get how it can feel like it's your fault, but that was his doing in the first place. He should have never put you in that position to have to say something, or for your mom to have to say something,
Well,
or
okay.
for y'all to have to feel that way, you know?
So let me interject just real quick. And I agree with what you're saying. Biggest thing that I want you to understand, Dre, is at the end of the day, like You one did what was best for you in that moment, and that was contact me because you needed some support there. At the end of the day, you have to think you needed support. That is not you taking that man's image of me. I mean, my image of that man from me. No, no, no. At that very moment, I decided to take you up on that offer because at that very moment, the curiosity got the best of me. You didn't take anything from me. If anything, you gave me what I needed. You have to look at it in that sense. You gave me what I needed to be able to understand that at the end of the day, everything that shines isn't always gold or diamond. Sometimes it's just bullshit that got a reflection off of it. So like in this very moment, like you have to when you start thinking, oh man, I stole that from him. You have to also think back, nah, I didn't steal shit from him. I just asked him to be there because I needed somebody. That's why I look at it the way I do. Because I was there to help you out. I wasn't there, you know what I mean, to find out what the hell actually happened. I was there to help you out. That was the main mission of that whole entire thing. The side goal was, yeah, let me figure out if this is true or not. But at the end of the day, you went and reached out to me to get a better relationship with your younger brother. That's all that you could do. That man decided to be an asshole about his life. Ain't got shit to do with you. Don't take the fault for it. I know it's easy for somebody like him to make you feel like you have to, but at the end of the day, you do not have to take the fall for his actions. He made that decision to do what he did. He's disrespectful. He made the decision to also lie about it. He made the decision to continue that lie for years and years and years and make everybody feel like they were, you know, they were the fucked up ones for wanting to hold him accountable. Remember, this man would try to tell himself that he's not a monster. Yet at the end of the damn day, you do monster like shit. In this moment, you're taking accountability for somebody else's actions. That's how we gonna tie that in.
Touche.
Biggest thing I'm gonna say, much love out there. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you did. It hurt, but I appreciate it. That's some necessary kind of pain.
I don't even get the entire. I know I don't get all the details and everything, but it sounds like something that needed to happen at the end of the day. And the fact that you feel, all this responsibility and all this negativity means that you understand the the detriment or the difficulties that you were going to have to deal with when you said those words. And you still did it so somebody else could be better, you know? And that's kind of the best thing about it. That's a plus one to you, really. At least in my eyes.
I appreciate it, man. It's hard. It was hard. It was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Legit.
I get that.
I had to break my little brother's heart.
Like I said,
That's
It's never
necessary
fun to tell
pain,
somebody
man.
the truth.
It isn't fun, but here's the thing. I mean, I'd rather live in a world where I know what the truth is than to live in a fantasy world and be looked at as like, damn, if only he knew. I
Yeah.
hate that
Uh,
feeling of that if only he knew. Cause now I feel like, damn, I don't know something. How do like what were you like? You got something you trying to plot behind me or something like that, or y'all doing shit behind my back that I don't know of? And that I mean, it answered a lot of questions. I went to my dad's house on a constant basis, and then randomly out of nowhere, everybody started like not fucking with me. Nobody wants to talk to me. Everybody's like stuck up in their
mhm.
rooms. I was trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Like, why? What y'all don't like me no more? What's up? No, it's not that they don't
Yeah.
like me. They don't like him. They're sick of his shit. Now, why in the hell they still got him around, I don't understand. But that's a different story for a different time. Evan, if you ever want me to explain the story to you, I have no problem doing so as long as Dre is okay with it. I personally don't give a fuck about talking about it no more because at the end of the day, he made his
Fuck it.
mistakes.
But
he he made his mistakes, and I personally feel like at
long
the
as you
end,
keep name and my name out of it, I don't care.
I do
Just
a
that,
vote. If
just
y'all
the
want
name
to hear, we can
on
let me know.
the roll, I understand, but just the name.
Yeah. No, if y'all feel comfortable. I don't like asking about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It feels like I'm invading somebody's privacy.
It's traumatic, but it ain't nothing that you don't see on Pornhub on the first, second page. So
Damn, damn.
That's how you put it.
I mean,
That's
and he's
funny.
not wrong. He's not wrong. That's the first thing I
Yeah,
thought of.
yeah.
keep from crying, man. The truth, like, and I hate that we as men have to do that. We have to laugh that shit off
Yeah.
and find the funny in everything rather than embrace it because it will truly fucking shake us to our core. And as a man, you're not allowed to have that happen.
You're not allowed to
I
have
don't have
that.
time to feel. I have to do.
Yeah.
That's why whoever shared that shit with that Kevin Gates said in the chat, I fucking I reacted to it because it was so real. The fact that he said you have to have a man cave just so you appreciate what the fuck that you do.
It was
Because
on
everybody
It
Breakfast
feels
Club.
else
like
feels like
that sometimes.
they're supposed to
Yeah.
do.
No, I get that because and that's one of those things. At le- I say in my opinion again, but at least in my experience, where when I got into a relationship, finding time for myself and finding time for her was difficult because when you're single, everything is about you. Everything
Right.
is about the the come up or the bag or effing these bees for real. If we're being honest. But when you find somebody that you can actually spend your time, or rather that you want to spend your time with, like that you want to find out more about, you got to find that balance, and it it can feel like you need your own space if that person's not giving you what you need. Like I get that. I've had both. I I I can understand on both sides.
Right.
All right, real quick before we continue. We have reached that 2 hour threshold. I'm still down to talk if y'all want to still talk, but
Yeah,
Damien
I'm
is
good.
lost. Damien, do you want to cut your stream, my boy? Like, I'm still recording.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it. I just wanted to make sure we got everything we needed to say about accountability and just an outro with everybody before the stream ended.
Much love, for real. Everybody who stopped in, um, we appreciate you. Definitely share the stream.
Definitely.
Appreciate you having us.
It was fun.
Appreciate it.
It was well done. Definitely.
That was a very nice conversation we had.
I got a little deep. I apologize. The liquor started talking a little bit. I
Hey.
ain't gonna lie to you. I got a
Nah,
little
that's
deep.
fine.
But at the same token, this topic just gets me like it makes me want to fight. Okay,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna be honest with you, that topic makes me want to fight. But it feels nice, like kind of letting it out on how I truly feel,
Yeah.
knowing that it was broadcast, knowing that it was live, knowing that I was able to actually express how I truly felt about it, made me feel good. So I do appreciate y'all listening in on my bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. Much respect.
It's no problem, bro. I appreciate you listening to ours too.
Truly.
That's what we here for. That's why we
Yeah.
made this.
We'll
But
officiate the name at some point.
yeah. I mean, we'll get it situated. But definitely, We'll do it again.
All right, y'all. Cool.